everyone, I'm Alison from AlisonDayDesigns.com. Thank you so much for joining me on the second part of my look at my album organization and getting it reorganized. Today we're going to be looking at my Disney album, what I have done so far, what processes I have put into place from the very beginning to keep things organized and separate, and we'll take a look through the layouts that I have done and see, what still needs to be done, and maybe some changes that need to be made to the layouts, because I was just kind of creating them and not really thinking about the story as a whole or what I had already scrapbooked. So I know for sure there's at least one duplicate in there which I need to deal with. So first of all, in this bag here is the memorabilia that we collected during our time at Disneyland, as well as you can see there's some pictures in there, and the supplies that I have used on the pages so far. When I first created the album, and I'll see if I can find the blog post about it and link you to it, I actually created a whole whack load of sort of base pages, and I started using those. I'm not sure if I have any of those left. So let's go through this. So in this envelope are the sort of supplies that I'm using. I'm trying to keep the color scheme similar. Now these are obviously new supplies that I have added. I haven't touched them yet. These are from the Simple Stories Say Cheese collection, which is purposefully a sort of Disney themed collection. So that'll work well with some of my pages. I have also included, this one is from Echo Park's Note to Self by Laurie Whitlock, and I had a couple other pages of it at the very beginning that I had used, and I really like, you can journal on it, and it's got the red and cream. The back is also polka dot, which works well with my color scheme. So I actually picked up extra sheets, so that's why those are in there. This is a printout from, I think, Chamel's True Stories, or True Scrap class, so I'll put that aside. So unless you went to that class, you shouldn't be seeing that. And I have this one remaining background that I've started that I still need to scrap on. And then I have some cardstock in sort of typical Disney colors: red, yellow, dark gray, black, and white. So that is pretty much what is in that folder. I know I have other supplies as well, which we'll get to. So this Ziploc bag looks like it's got all my memorabilia in it. My husband had a birthday while we were there, so I've got his pin. I need to add that to a page. Park maps. I've also got, this is from our shuttle bus. I've got a bag that we purchased some things with, obviously. I might use that in a layout. Some stuff that, confetti and things that were thrown around at the park that I just picked up. Meant something to the girls. So there's lots of things for me to deal with and work through and add to my page. This has got my offcuts of paper, as well as a few little like journaling ephemera packs. So these are all the papers that I originally started with. A lot very specifically Disney themed. Mickey and Friends, we've got the fireworks. But I've kept them all together so that when I'm creating new pages, I can go from this scrap bin and make sure all the pages work together. This next bag has the other items that I was using on them, just to create that sort of continuity. So I've got letter stickers. They're all sticking together there. In lots of different colors. I've still got lots of those left. Some flower shapes. More alphabets. Die cuts. Because we have 3 little girls, I have picked up, you know, the Tinkerbell themed things and Rapunzel, because that had just come out and my girls were really big into Tangled. And this is, oops, I got flying. They are words in a glittery white. So some are script and some are more blocked print. So I've added those to several pages along the way. Another alphabet. These are border strips. There's some fabric flowers in here. I've used most of them, but there's still some left. And I've got some washi tape that I can add to my pages for continuity. Alphabets. What else is back here? Some pink alphabets for some princess pages. Lots and lots of alphabets. And then this is also from the Say Cheese. So I've got more alphabets and then little phrase stickers as well. Some candy dots to sprinkle around the pages. And a few wood veneer shapes. Another roll of washi tape in there. So there's lots for me to work with to make my pages coordinate. I don't want them necessarily to all use the same products. I don't want them to come across as sort of cookie cutter or anything like that. But I do want there to be a flow to my album so that as I'm working on pages, because I'm not going to sit down and scrapbook all my photos, but as I'm working on pages, it doesn't matter if I've scrapbooked them back in 2012 when we first went or now, they can have a similar look. They can look like they work together. Okay, I'm just going to put these aside and we'll go through my album. So these are the photos that just fell out of the bag there. And I will put those in the right spot. Before I go through the album though, I do want to show you one thing, and that's this. These are all my Disneyland photos. And I have a little bit of a sad story to tell about these because I did print them all off. I sent basically everything that I took to Costco. And I had my camera, my fancy camera, and my husband had, we just had a little point and shoot. This was before we had phones with decent cameras. So both memory cards just uploaded to Costco. I got them all printed off. And I'm so glad I did that because later on in the year, my hard drive died. And I lost pretty much everything from well, the first half of 2012. So, yeah, most of 2012 is just gone. I think I had backups up to maybe March of 2012, March, April kind of a thing. And then I hadn't backed up for probably 6 to 8 months, maybe 6 months I hadn't backed up. I just run into problems and I hadn't, gotten around to fixing it. And then my hard drive failed and I lost a ton of photos. And I was so glad that I had all these printed off. They are my only copies. I don't even have negatives. So, yeah, that's a lesson for you. I know I have created a layout with these pictures on them. So I'll just tuck those right there. And I have put sticky notes with the date of each day. And I think they're all still in the order of days. I was noticing when I went through my album that some of my layouts don't have the date on them, so I'm going to have to go via what clothes we were wearing and see if I can match up the dates. So this is my Disneyland album. When I started this project, I had a 12 by 12 like post-bound album. It had Mickey's face sort of embossed on the front. It looked really cool. But I quite quickly realized I was making way more layouts than were going to fit in this album. So I had to come up with a new plan. So this is 12 by 12 ring binder, cloth bound. It might be American Crafts, it might be We Are Memory Keepers, I'm really not sure. It doesn't really matter, they're all sort of the same thing. So I'll flip through the layouts that I have made already. This is kind of like my title page, because obviously this photo of our whole family group was taken midway through the holiday, but it makes a really nice title page. So you can see some of the items or products that I've pulled aside. I've got stickers. That was a title sticker that specifically purchased. This is from one of the papers that I had. There's just a bunch of phrase boxes on it. These are those border strips, washi tape behind. I had a whole bunch of packs with little Mickey gem heads. I don't know how many of those I have left. And those are the little sort of candy dots. So these are the things I'm going to be keeping throughout. I've also got mist, and that I still have. It's not in my kit, obviously, but sorry, hang on a second, let me move the photos. So I haven't scrapped these in chronological order, but I have put them in chronological order. So these are actually photos taken, a lot of them were taken by my eldest daughter, and they're just when we arrived in LA, or that one was on the plane. I'm just waiting for the bus to go to the hotel. But again, you see same sort of products used. And this page was one of the ones that I pre-made, which made it really easy to just go in and grab, you know, a base and then slap my photos and all my embellishments on top. The first ride we took them on was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Maybe a bit too wild. Yeah, didn't go over that well with my girls. So you can see I'm continuing the color scheme, the embellishments. Some of these have compilations of photos taken from different days. So I don't know if this is going to stay in this spot, but that's where it is right now. And I've got a few double page spreads in there, so this is all about just Mickey and Minnie and where we ran into them and that sort of thing. And I am trying to use a different color scheme when I scrapbook the Adventures with the Princesses versus Adventures with Mickey and Minnie. But I am still using some of the same supplies. I've got these word stickers, stars, the little Mickey gem, and even this paper back here. It's a very, very deep pink. That one repeats in other ones as well, non-princess ones. Another double page spread. And now we've got another jump here with the Pixie Hollow ones. It's very green, but I have still used some of the same supplies. I might need to work a little bit harder to make this one sort of coordinate. I do have washi tape here and the yellow, the blue polka dot. But we'll, you know, as I keep going through the album, we'll see if this one needs to be tweaked at all. And now we get to the ones that I actually duplicated. So I've got this one here, lovely double page spread about waiting for the princesses and meeting the princesses and how we were one person shy of meeting the big three. And then I have the exact same pictures. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep both of these. If I were better organized and I had actually consulted my albums before creating this lip, which I think this was the second one I created. I really don't remember anymore. Then I probably wouldn't have created the other one. but I'm not, so that happened. I do like on this one how I've got the names of the princesses. I don't have that over here. So that's going to be one of my challenges for going through this album, is seeing how I can make these two work together. It could be that I move one of these into our album about 2012. That might work, and then I can keep both of them, but like I said, we'll see. This one, I actually, once I decide exactly where it's going to be, I'll need to sort of cut a pocket here, because I have a little interactive element with this layout. It opens up. Goofy had some fun with us. And then I've got some layouts that I haven't put into page protectors yet. So that's the layout I made with the telling the story that those extra photos were about. So I might not need to keep those extra photos. I mean, I'll keep them obviously, but I might not need to scrapbook them, is what I'm saying. So all these need to get into layout, or into page protectors. And this one, I'd like to incorporate more pocket pages into this album, because I do have a lot of photos, so I think it would be quite good to have some in pocket pages, because you can add a ton of photos. Like I could easily have just, you know, put a 6 or 9 or however many pocket page protector, whatever I'm trying to say, and just filled it with photos. This one I did use some paper and sort of doll it up a bit. But it goes with this layout. It's not a double page spread by any stretch of the imagination, but it continues the story on this side and on this side. One thing I do need to do, and this is when I go through and write post-its, this is the type of thing I'm looking for. Like this just falls right out. So I think I might need to put a little bit of washi tape over the top to keep it all in. I also see I've got a rogue letter here. I'm not sure who that or where that's from. Oh, I just found it. That's why it needs to get into page protector. And it's all from the same story, so I'm using all the same supplies. And it's not a double page spread, but it will all go together and it all coordinates. So that's a quick look at my album. And my next step, I mean, obviously I have tons of photos left, but my next step is to start thinking about the story as a whole. What I haven't scrapbooked yet, what maybe I need to add to these, and this is starting to get kind of full, so I'll probably need to look at a second album. And for that, I'm going to grab some post-it notes and we'll get started. Okay, so a couple of things now that I've gone through this that I'll just point out. I'm really happy with this as a title page. Don't want to change anything. We'll leave it right there. I need a date on this one. The one thing I have toyed with is maybe having not really separation pages, but having some sort of distinction between the days. Whether the first layout I make about that day has, you know, day 1, day 2, or the date on it really big. I'm not really sure yet how that is going to look, but as I was going through this, I thought that might be kind of good to have. But anyways, for now, I at least need to put the date on that one. I will probably move this further in, because these characters, it was actually I think about our third day there that we got those pictures taken, so I think I might move this into later on. But for now it needs the dates and then the character names. I mean, I know hopefully I'll never forget who these guys are, but you never know. This one's fine. But I just wanted to say, like, add that the ones down here with Mickey Mouse were taken in Toontown at his house. And then these were later on in the day. So all different times on the same day that we ran into the same characters. But so I might add some more journaling, and I can easily write on this red paper along here. This one is okay. Now I've just written up some notes about, just looking through my photos, what we did on this day, so I can start adding a layout in here. Because there's a lot that happened between us being at the castle and the fireworks. And none of it has been scrapbooked yet. So I have a lot of work to do. And these ones both have the date on them, so that's good. Again, I might work, these two are actually pretty cohesive. I just need to see if I can figure out the timeline exactly. I'm hoping that I blogged from Disneyland, but who knows. Okay, here, yeah, these, see, and I only have these two layouts done from May the 7th, and then suddenly we're into May the 8th, and there's a whole lot of other stories I gotta tell, so I got a lot of work to do. But here, I've decided to keep this one. This is my duplicate. So I've decided to keep this one as is. I quite like this one. I like that it's on the black rather than the pink. I think it blends better with the hits of the pink rather than being all pink. But what I thought I might do, because the one thing that this layout is missing are these photos that show them interacting while we're waiting in line. And there was even a really funny photo. I probably won't be able to find it super fast while I'm talking to you. But there was a really funny, oh, there it is. Look at that. There was somebody, I can't remember what these ladies are called, but she was waiting in line to see the princesses as well. And I snapped a photo of her. So I think I'm going to take these two, this double page layout, and sort of make it into a single page. I'll try and salvage what supplies I can and make a layout, and we can do that a little bit later. And for now, let's keep going. So again, most of these I've just put, I need the date on them. There's a lot more stories that have to go in here. And I put these in sleeves, obviously. And I think this one, I think I had it earlier in the album, but I've decided to put it later. The last date on it is the 10th of May. I need the date on that. I need the date on this. Sorry, I got cut off there. So picking up where the camera shut down. I was going to say, when I eventually put my album together and have the story in the order that I want it, I can't have these two next to each other because they're just so different in color scheme that it would be quite jarring to turn the page and be like, ah, yellow, ah, not yellow. So I will have to keep that in mind as I'm creating the pages. I mean, I think there's obviously quite a bit of story in between, you know, seeing Rapunzel and then being in Autopia, but that's just something I'll have to keep in mind. And then these ones are fine. I like, now that they're all in page protectors, I like how the story flows, but I do need to just add a little bit of tape to the top there. Okay, and that's where my album ends right now. So I obviously have a lot of work to do, a lot of layouts to create, and I'm not going to sit down and create a whole ton of layouts right now. It's just not really feasible. But it is something that now that I have started this process and I feel like making a layout, I can pull out this album, take a look and see where I'm at fix, you know, certain issues that the album is having, continuity issues, that kind of thing, and make sure that going forward the layouts work better together than they currently do. So I hope that's helped you a little bit. I am going to be taking those 2 Disney double page spreads about the princesses and creating a new layout, but I'll do that on a second video. This one's getting quite long, and I hope you come back and watch that. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.